Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of January 26th through February 1st. You guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week, energies and influences of the week. What else? Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Comments down below. Feedback is always welcome. Let me know if this resonates, if some of the readings or the messages resonate. If they don't, that's cool too. I think that's it. Let's see. Same 3 decks that I've been using for the last couple of readings, so you guys are familiar with them. And I don't know if anybody saw my comment on the last video, but I just want to make it very clear again, especially since I'm recording this after the fact that ICE has killed another person in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Fuck ICE, fuck ICE, fuck ICE, fuck ICE all the way off. Fuck all the way off, okay? I stand with Minneapolis. I stand with immigrants. I stand with the American way is really what I want to say. This is completely un-American, and it's deeply, deeply affecting us here in America. And yeah, I just wanted to make that very, very clear. I honestly don't care what YouTube has to say. As long as this video can go out, I don't know if they give you a strike or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. The truth is more important, right? All right, so with that being said, these videos are getting kind of long, so I want to jump right into it and get the messages to you guys now. So let's begin. All right, what do we need, guys? We need a message in a bottle. Okay, so this has to do with communication. So it says we need to communicate. So actually pretty straightforward here on this message. So we need to do more communicating. We need to be talking to each other more. It makes sense with the kind of stuff that's kind of going on that I just mentioned. We need to be talking to ourselves more. We need to be talking about things more. This could have something to do with self-expression and expressing yourself. Maybe you have to get something off your chest to somebody. I know I just got something off my chest. So it's very interesting that energy came up there. So yeah, get it off your chest. Say the thing that you maybe need to say. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even was last week, we had a message, something about like somebody telling us a secret or something, and maybe there's something they've been keeping from us. So it might be something that doesn't feel necessarily secretive, but it just feels like maybe you need to express yourself and communicate. So go for it, is what Spirit is saying there. Action needed, eagle vision. Okay, so this is basically saying that we need to see things in a different way, seeing things from a different perspective. So action needed is maybe you need to reframe something in your life. Maybe I'm kind of getting intuitively that it might be something that kind of came up and maybe hasn't gone your way necessarily, and you have to see things differently, or need to reframe it in a different way. Like basically it's saying like maybe something has come up that it's not like the best news or the best thing that could happen to you, but you kind of need to like reframe it, to look at it a different way. And it's under action needed, so it's saying definitely take action on that. Issue-wise, we have Samaritan upside down, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Help those who you would prefer to ignore. Okay, so we've all heard the term, so it's easy to use it in context of like the term. So we've all heard of like being a good Samaritan, meaning like doing something, you know, for your fellow citizen, doing something for, why are these crooked here? Doing something for somebody that can't necessarily help you at all, being of service, and it's in the shadow, right? And so it's under issue. So basically it's saying like you have an issue, like maybe for some reason you're having issues doing things for other people. Like you want to be doing them, but some, you know, X, Y, or Z is like kind of holding you back from doing that, from being a good Samaritan. It could also kind of signal like maybe you want to be like part of more, like a little bit more part of your community, which doesn't surprise me because we've gotten a lot of like community messages. Like I really do feel like this year and kind of going forward is really going to be more community based, like Like the people yearn for community. You know, I think individuality is great, and that's like a big value of mine, individuality. But you know, community is something that I think that we're craving. You know, between everybody working from home, between COVID for many years, where people were isolated from other people, from, you know, the absence of third spaces. Like there's not just every time you leave the house you have to spend money. There's no like communal spaces for us anymore. So this, you know, maybe you feel like you can't be connected, and it's frustrating. Like maybe you want this, but something is stopping you from this. That could also be what this card is saying. But also it just feels like you want to help so bad, but maybe you feel like you can't for whatever reason. Maybe you're feeling helpless. Maybe you feel like there's a barrier. I know for me, my health holds me back from like a lot of things, and that's frustrating. So that's how it's resonating with me. But yeah, definitely feeling like some kind of like frustration energy kind of coming from there. But this too shall pass, right? All right, challenge. The fates. Okay, so what will be will be. And so it's under challenge. So basically it's saying like you're having an issue and you're having a challenge with kind of accepting that. So it's you're having you're having a challenge with accepting something, or maybe surrendering to something. How else could this show up? Yeah, you're just like having trouble. Just having trouble like letting things flow. That could also be part of this, because you know what will be, like whatever your destiny is, like things will pan out the way that they're intended to pan out. Like that kind of attitude, that kind of mindset is what you're having a challenge with. So I mean, could be linked to what I just said with the ego, where maybe like something has happened to us, or something is happening to us recently, and it's kind of throwing like a wrench in our plans, you know. So yeah, so this is really kind of like about like surrendering to that, and we're having a hard time with it, which, you know, we're having a challenging time with it, which is understandable, right? The phrase, like, you know, when you make plans, God laughs kind of thing is kind of going on here. Like that phrase is kind of resonating here. Because maybe you plan to do something and then that kind of went haywire. So that could be it as well. But again, this too shall pass. So having a little bit of a hard time with those two things. All right, change. What do we got going on here? Fire. Ooh, intensity. Okay. So, all right. So we're becoming a little bit more intense. We're becoming a little bit more, you know, fire always symbolizes passion too, right? We're becoming intense. We're becoming passionate. We're becoming, you know, angry. We're you know, this is good for the collective, and it could definitely resonate with what I was just talking about in the beginning of the video. We're very frustrated here in America, okay? Not everybody, which is unfortunate, but I would say most of us, honestly. So yeah, definitely things are getting more intense. Things are getting more real. Things are getting more, you know, we're getting more passionate. We're kind of like getting revved, like, you know, fire too is like kind of like getting revved up and getting ready. So it could also be momentum. Like maybe our momentum is coming back this week, which is cool. So that's changing. Yeah. So change in mood, change in intensity. You know, I like that. I haven't really been, you know, I mean, I have been, but this feels like more like taking call to action, basically, like a call to action of it, like not necessarily feeling it, but feeling it and taking, you know, taking action on it as well. So I like that. Actually, you know what? This might have something to do with the 26th is Neptune going into Aries, and that is a fire sign. So that could have something to do with that as well. So I think that's very interesting. My light astrology. All right, focus. What do we need to focus on? Visionary upside down, selling insight to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Okay, so this isn't great. This one is basically saying, because it came in the shadow, and it's basically saying, everybody, like it's, okay, let me talk this out. Everybody is kind of taking your ideas. Like everybody, like it's almost saying like other people are like not stealing your ideas, but they've had, like you've had better ideas than other people, and somehow other people have executed on things, and you have better ideas. Like it's almost like you're seeing other people kind of like live their dreams on less, you know, where they have, like you're just as talented as them, you have, you know, better ideas than them. That's what this is saying. You have better ideas than them, but everybody else is maybe, I wouldn't say like doing better, but like there's like an envious type feeling that's kind of coming from this card. That's basically saying like you're watching like everybody kind of like pass you and kind of live their dreams, and it's getting to you. I definitely do feel like it's getting to you there. So it's under focus. So it's saying make it a priority to really kind of like put yourself first and like focus on this type of energy that's coming through, you know, on the envious side of things, like maybe like try to channel that energy somehow and, you know, put it towards an idea that you have, okay? And again, it could be something that might be blocking you. Like for example, like this resonates with me because I feel like I have a lot of ideas, but I'm a little, just a smidge disabled right now, and I can't necessarily execute on them, right? I'm not at my fullest potential right now. It's just, you know, it's not on the cards for me. It's illness. There's nothing I can do. I'm doing my protocol and healing, and it's just time that it takes. And, you know, that's that. But this is, you know, Spirit is asking me to kind of like prioritize that, kind of look at that, you know, my relationship to envy. Could also be like relationship to self-worth, right? Because you feel like maybe you're not good enough, but everybody else is doing it. Like I said, like there are people that are not as smart as you, not as talented as you, but somehow they get ahead, and sometimes they get what they want. And so it could, you know, make us feel a certain way, but it's saying like prioritize these feelings, look at them. It's not exactly in the reflect spot, but it's close to it. So maybe reflect on that. But yeah, there's something there. There's something there around that we kind of really need to be focusing on. Is the best way I can say. All right, reflect. Higher power. Okay, so this is basically, we haven't actually gotten like one of these cards for a while about like asking us to dip back into connection, you know, if we kind of like, sometimes it pops up when we fall off. So this is definitely saying connect to a higher power, reflect on your connection to a higher power, maybe even thinking and analyzing our relationship to God, spirit, religion, even possibly. Maybe something might come up this week about questioning your faith of some kind. That's very, very possible for sure, being in this slot. So I'm definitely, again, I read intuitively, could definitely be more so on the religious side of things. But definitely reflecting on your relationship to a higher power and your beliefs in general, I would say, is kind of like a theme for the week for sure. All right, responsibilities. We have balance. Okay, so definitely balance everything out. Nothing too much to say here. Try to balance your being and doing energy, work and, you know, work/career with personal relationships. Just bring a good amount of balance to your responsibilities this week. Don't overpack the schedule is basically what it's saying. And don't under, you know, maybe do a little bit more, you know. Don't do the opposite, you know, underwork, I guess. Don't underwork. Money, finances, and career. We have Prince, romantic charm, and potential for power. Oh, I like this in the money, finances, and career spot. So this is saying your charisma, yeah, this is definitely kind of, it almost accompanies this energy over here with the visionary. So it's basically saying like, you're likable, people like you. You're very charismatic. You definitely potential for power. Like you have definitely like a good potential. So it's definitely talking about your potential here in both these areas. And it's under money, finance, and career here. So it's basically saying like maybe somebody is recognizing your potential. Maybe somebody is realizing your power at work, and realizing like maybe how good you are at your job, or maybe recognizing different skills that you have that maybe haven't been recognized before. We've been getting like some messages in the past, maybe even like the last month or so, about like utilizing hidden talents and things like that. So maybe this is where you're finally being recognized this week at work, or you're even like, this could even be like you recognizing it in yourself. Like you're like, the same here is like, that you have the same, like you recognize your potential, and you see other people, like I said, like going after their dreams, and they're not as smart as you, or not as quick as you, or not as capable as you, or like whatever it actually is. So it could be like you recognizing your own power, right? And realizing like that you're maybe being underpaid or underutilized at work or something along those lines. So you could be recognizing your own power, but could also be other people recognizing it, your own power and potential. So I like that. This is kind of like giving a boost to like the self-worth kind of conversation. All right, surprise. Chop wood. Okay, so this is about humility. This is about taking things day by day. This is about doing the little things. So it's under surprise. So basically it's saying like, maybe this could be like the little things that you have done in your life are now accumulating to something big. How do I explain this? What's a good way to say this? So possibly like maybe, it could mean like completion of something, right? Maybe you've been doing like little things around the house, like making your place look, feel more like home, and you finish the completion of that. Like you finally decorate the last bathroom in your home, and now it feels complete. Like, and so you took it day by day, you did the little things, and maybe you did it by hand, like, right? Like you didn't like, you did it yourself. You didn't hire like a contractor or something like that. God bless if you could do that. But, maybe you did that, and you kind of like, built something brick. It's almost saying like you built something brick by brick, or you did something one thing at a time. And now your efforts are kind of like paying off. And so it's under surprise. So maybe you weren't expected to be done with the renovation so soon, or maybe you weren't expecting to love the renovation that much. Or something like that. So it definitely does feel like you've been doing little things, and you've put in the hard work like yourself. You've done it like yourself. And now you can kind of see like the fruits of that labor. So I like that. And it's under surprise because maybe, like I said, maybe you weren't expecting it to be done already, or maybe you weren't expecting to like it that much, or maybe you weren't expecting you to finish it or survive it or whatever it is, So I like that. So this is like, I almost feel like an esteem, like a self-esteem, and I just mentioned self-worth, kind of similar thing that may come from this as well. Like you put in the hard work, like you earned it, like there's like a certain level of earning something that's coming there that you feel, maybe you maybe the surprise is like you didn't think that you'd be so accomplished, feel so accomplished. Like maybe it's something that you never thought that you could do, or it's something silly. Like maybe it is like putting together furniture, and you put it together, and you're like, wow, I didn't think that I could do that. I didn't have to hire somebody to do it. I did it myself. Like that kind of, that's the kind of vibe that's kind of coming from there. And you should be, you should be proud of yourself if you put together furniture. I mean, that is talent. I will tell you that. Okay, we have friends here. Cedar tree wisdom. Okay, so lots of wisdom here. So maybe you talk to a wise friend. Maybe you get wise advice from a friend this week. maybe you're the wisdom tree. Maybe, you give wisdom to somebody, or something like that. So, this is like I have to say this as well. This is coming through intuitively. Maybe you have an older friend. Older doesn't necessarily equal wiser, but this is what I'm getting intuitively. It may be a little specific, but I am committed to telling you guys whatever comes through. So maybe, don't discount your older friends. Maybe somebody or even like this could be a community member. Somebody gives you some kind of nugget of wisdom. That could be just really helpful for your life going forward. So I like that. So listen up. And also it could be, again, you giving it. So, all right, romantic connection. We have student, humility, and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Okay, so this is about learning. So this could be about learning about something new about your partner this week. This might be just being extra curious about their experiences or what they're going through or how they're feeling. Learning a new skill in general that will help with your relationship, maybe a communication skill because of that message in a bottle. But I see it as like a really positive thing, and definitely brings you guys closer for sure. For my single people, if you're dating, definitely a good week to do that because you might learn something new about somebody. It's a good week to like learn new things about people. So I would say, if you have many dates this week, that's like, that's like a good thing because you're learning many things about many different people. But yeah, I single or coupled, this looks good. Okay, important, happy. Okay, so your joy is definitely important. I totally understand that, especially everything that's going on in the world. It's important to find joy somewhere, to find a silver lining somewhere. And that silver lining kind of goes into what we got up here going with the fates and the eagle vision. Like I'm telling you, I'm getting this feeling that maybe we've gotten news or something has happened and it's not great, but we have to kind of reframe it and look at more of like the positive side and, find some joy in it and just like change your perspective around it and understand that the thing that we did want, if it's really for us, it'll come back around. Like those kind of messages, like that kind of vibe is coming through. So it's important to find joy this week. So find it somewhere, even if it has nothing to do with what I just said, maybe it has something to do with what I said, what's going on across the country. It's really hard in these, political times to find joy, but joy is also an act of resistance. So definitely do your part to find it. Do what you can. And then health and wellness, we have diamond. Ooh, radiance. Okay. So you're shining like a diamond. I love that under health and wellness. So your health is getting better. Ooh, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. So you might be feeling like extra shiny. You might be feeling extra radiant. You might be feeling like you're glowing. Maybe you do a treatment this week where you get a facial and you're glowing. Maybe, I always talk about like a weight loss journey, like you've lost some weight and you bought a new wardrobe this week and you're totally glowing and you look healthy and you look great. Shining like a diamond. Could be for mental wellness. Maybe you are feeling good, it's right next to the happy. So, maybe this is like if you're more, on the, feeling pessimistic side, maybe you're feeling more optimistic. So I like that. Yeah, I love this. This is such a great card, Date for Health and Wellness. I love to see it. You guys know I love to see it. Okay, last one. Overall outcome. Well. Avenger. Here we go. That's the one that we had last week that I was afraid to speak out on, but I'm not afraid to speak out, okay? Speak out for what's right. I don't care what political party you belong to. It does not matter. There is a difference between humanity and non-humanity, okay? What's humane and what's not humane. That should not be up for discussion, okay? So we have Avenger. So desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Yep, definitely feeling like it's a righteous week. Trying to do, you're trying to do your best, trying to do what's right. you know, do your best with that. And that's the best thing that I could say is just be safe, be careful, and yeah, it's in the light, so I'm not worried. If it was in the shadow, I'd be a little worried, because if you guys remember what the shadow is, I don't know if you could read it, but it says reporting to violence in the name of a cause. Okay, so the opposite would be peaceful protesting, so we're good. It's in the light. It's in the light. So that actually makes me feel better, because it's crazy over here is all I have to say. Okay, so I didn't mean to make the whole thing kind of, you know, kind of overcast by what I said in the beginning and now I'm ending with, but you know, it's kind of crazy here, and I would feel like a phony. I don't like being fake. I don't like being inauthentic. So, you know, it's on my mind, and I know it's weird sometimes to be trying to get on with your everyday life and things are everything but normal, but you know, it is what it is. And it's life, you know, it's earth for you. But otherwise, guys, honestly, like, I don't really see anything super negative, to be honest. Like, anything that would be like red flags. I mean, the only other thing I would say is like, it's not even really negative, because we're starting to, I like cards that start to turn the wheels of like our potential, like thinking about our potential, and we're not necessarily living up to our potential. Or in this case, money, finances, and career, you know, somebody is seeing it or you're realizing it, right? So, you know, that the envy energy here, I think it's going to be strong this week, and I think that's probably going to be something that affects you all week for sure. But you can channel it into something better, you know. You can channel it into momentum, because we've got the momentum now. That's what's changing. So you can definitely channel it there. So I wouldn't even consider that really a red flag, though. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.